personal connect with Amrita Thakur is as an influencee. In a virtual world full of editorial looks and twist-up styling, she's somebody that I appreciate for her classic, clean, and often restyled outfits that never scream of being a look. Her label features Indianwear that is modern and elegant, but what she's best known for is her unique approach to styling and her straight-to-camera styling videos that are addictively and aesthetically influential. She seamlessly integrates upcoming designers, industry royalty, and high street labels from the Indian fashion scene into her everyday wardrobe. She encourages what I like to call sustainability of choice, repeating clothing, investment buying, heirloom pieces, and has a special place for jewellery and silver. Today on the India Edit, we're going to chat about Indian fashion, sustainability, and our choices.
Yeah, so nobody knows, but we've never actually met.
We
we're
haven't
like
met.
Insta buddies.
Yeah. The first time sort of, I think you just messaged me and I was so surprised because you messaged me. I was pregnant at that time and you messaged me saying, get this particular cream. And it's great for stretch marks and moisture and even with the babies and all. I was quite surprised. I was like, how sweet is that to just reach out to a stranger and tell them that, this cream is good. So, and I instantly went and got it.
Actually, it was actually because my connect with you is actually as an influencee. I am your prime influencee. I literally get influenced whenever you put things up, and I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I feel like I connect with you and I like your style, and I mentioned earlier when I was introducing you that in a world full of like twist up styling and all these like weird things, and it works for some people, but I love how for you a t-shirt is a t-shirt and a skirt is a skirt, and I really relate to that because I'm very basic, and I was like, there are so many influencers out there who look great, but I can't do any of those things, and I feel like you're so relatable.
I think that was when I wanted to start because I just felt like it was the whole influencer market, or the entire sort of room was full of people that were, I don't know, I felt it was forced styling a lot of times, or it was styling for the heck of, like, you're putting on a vest and then a jacket and then a pullover. It's like, bloody, you're in Bombay, so you can't really wear this, darling. So but yeah, so I just wanted to simplify it, and trust me, no matter how hard I try, I can't wear a sweater with another jacket, with another something. So it just doesn't come naturally to me. So I just wanted to keep it real.
That's what I like about you. And speaking of being an influencer, how do you stay real? Because at the end of the day, you have to balance between staying authentic and at the same time, it is a legitimate profession. And that's something that I wanted to ask you because I have always connected with you in a very organic, genuine manner. But as time goes by and as each influencer picks up a greater following, you can go into a space of being unrelatable. So how do you do that?
I think before taking on any sort of project that comes your way, you have to ask yourself whether that is what I do. So whether it's a bag company or whether it's a skincare brand, I just ask myself, would I actually reach out? Would I actually go online and shop for this? Or would I actually be in their store and pick this particular product? If it doesn't sit with me, I just won't be able to convince you to buy it. And it has happened where I'm constantly saying no to a lot of brands that come my way and say, oh, we think you will be perfect to sell this product, or to market this product, or to tell your audience that, hey, this is a great product. But I have to either already be an existing customer or say, you know what, give me some time to see if I like this and see if it works for me. and see if I'm convinced whether this is a product that I want to continue using. So I think you have to constantly tell yourself, and you have to take that call for yourself. So each influencer sort of, I think, has to take a call for themselves as to whether they are just being a face, which is selling products, or they are selling a part, an extension of what they are, and sharing that with the audience.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you because, see, the world is becoming increasingly consumerist. Everybody wants to sell you something. And either you're the one convincing somebody to buy it or you're the one getting convinced. And I've been on both sides. And like you, even I need to be convinced because I feel like, I mean, I'm just a normal person and I wouldn't want to fool somebody else into buying something that they may not need, that isn't necessarily good for them in a particular circumstance, and so on and so forth. And yeah, maybe there are certain ethics I feel that comes with being an influencer. And I've seen on your page that one of my favorites is your straight to camera styling videos. And I think that's really what picked up. And we get to see what's in your wardrobe. And I've seen that it's a great mix. And that's why I relate to you. And it's a great mix between high street, between couture labels from India and international designers, high fashion, streetwear, jewelry pieces here and there. So there's also a loud support for Indian designers, and I wanted to ask you that is it a conscious effort or do you need to make that effort?
No, actually,
I mean, is it a conscious effort or does it come naturally?
It's very natural because these were, see, I started with I didn't start off thinking, oh, this is going to turn into a full-time sort of influencing situation, but I started with pieces that I have owned and had in my wardrobe for years. So, and we as designers, you know, there's one batch that feels, oh, we don't want to buy other designer stuff. I don't belong to that category. I love other people's clothes.
I've seen that.
Yeah, I mean, what I can do, someone else can't do, and I can't replicate what someone else does. And you have to, being in design, you have to be able to appreciate what someone else does, and you know that the fact that doesn't come naturally to you. So, I mean, even though a Pratap shirt is a Pinta Pratap shirt, but there is a reason why it is a Pinta Pratap shirt. So
nobody does it
quite like him. So, you know, I always, I started with pieces that I had in my wardrobe, and then it gradually sort of got into, you know, exploring more and finding more people. And I was always of the opinion that whenever, you know, you wore something, you went out, somebody asked you, where's this from? I love telling everyone, whether it was from Sarojini Nagar or whether it was from Onsom or Ogan or wherever it was from. So I had no qualms about sharing if I picked up something at an exhibition or at some shop that I found, which is a secret shop that nobody knows about. So my idea was that to share and to sort of let people know that, hey, this brand does beautiful things, you can go get it. So be it a Nimrana in Bombay or any other small brand from, you know, any other city. So I've always been of that opinion. So that just came very naturally to sort of just share what I had and what I was piecing things together.
Because I found a lot of my favorites after I've seen your page, and also I feel like, you know, there's a certain amount of ease, and I feel like clothes and fashion, for me, it can't be hectic. It has to come naturally. It has to be easy. I need to feel comfortable. And of course, there are times when you want to make that effort. But personally, I cannot do it on an everyday basis. I need to chill. I mean, I have other things. And, you know, even when I travel, as much as I would love to pack in a certain way that I can get those Instagram pictures and like have the look going, but it's just so hectic. And to be honest, like when you have kids, I'm so done when it comes to their packing that by the time I get to mine, I'm like, seriously, it's probably the same stuff again and again. And when we travel, it's, you know, that's when we find interesting things and we pick up pieces that we won't necessarily find. And I have seen that I'm doing that here now. It's almost like during this staycation, I'm shopping here. And, you know, Usually when we go abroad and we buy pieces, we don't bat an eyelid when we see how much something very basic is for, and we take it for granted that it's good quality and it has a brand attached to it. But why are we so afraid or hesitant to embrace Indian designers? I mean, you're doing it. I know a lot of people are, a lot of my friends are, but then there is another section of people who would rather spend the same amount of money abroad because it is from there.
I think there are two things. One thing is people for a long time have not known that there are certain Indian brands that exist. So it's a question of really understanding, oh, you know, there is a brand like this that is offering me similar, you know, type of clothing that I can get from another high street brand and is probably better quality and is made in India. But so one thing is that they don't know a lot of times that these brands exist. And that is why something like my model works, where it's like, hey, listen, there's this brand, it's doing this kind of stuff. I think it's great. Check it out. See if you want it. The other thing is that, of course, there is that mentality again. I think we're still attached to that mentality of when we travel, we buy. I think what happened is when certain high street brands launched in India, I think that did change, because what happened was, when something is available as easily as getting into a car and going to the store and buying it, then you start also looking at options. There are a lot of times we, you know, call our girlfriends up and say, need something to wear, but I can't find anything at this shop, you know, which is our regular hunt. And, you know, there's nothing at this place and there's nothing at that place. And then we go looking, we actually go scrolling through Instagram and see, oh, this is a cool brand that is doing a really cool thing and it's doing the summer dress that I wanted. So I'm going to go pay. It is, obviously, there is a little bit of a price this thing, but because your high street brands are mass produced, whereas these, you know, Indian labels are not mass produced products or mass produced pieces. So there is that difference. But I think that mentality is changing because they are getting more aware of people, the brands existing, these brands existing and offering these kind of pieces.
Yeah, I think that even for me, now I start saving things that I like on Instagram, and then when I'm trying to search for something, it's like a photo reel, right? It's like an album of all these saved things, and then I go and see, okay, this is what I like, maybe this will work for here, this may not. And over time I have started collecting things that I really, really like. And I've made that conscious effort to find things. And it's not like an instant buy, like, oh, this is nice, let's get it. You know? Because what's the point of hoarding it? It sits in the back of your cupboard and eventually, you know, you may wear it, you may not wear it. And so speaking of like making a conscious effort, I do feel that it requires us to open up to the Indian designers now that we have multi-designer stores that are even online. So at the same time, I feel like many people hesitate because of quality. And because you're a designer yourself, you're the one who's making the clothes. Is there a long way to go to match up to the quality? Because we do have people venturing into swimwear and athleisure and loungewear and things like that, which were those pieces that people buy abroad. You know, we go abroad and buy a really good swimsuit. And now you have Shivan and Naresh doing things like that here. You have Miranda, Anjali is doing an amazing job. Do you feel we are matching up to the quality? Is there a long way to go?
I don't think we have a long way to go. I think if you asked me 10 years back, yes, we probably had a long way to go. But I think we're very fast catching up. And I think what it requires now, I think we're almost there, but what it requires is a little bit of finesse. You know, that little bit of polished this thing. So I am still skeptical to order swimsuits in India. From a regular brand, I'm not talking about Shivan and Naresh. Because I just don't know, you know, things, I'm just going to say, things like padding and things, you know, like you just want to be, you want to be comfortable. You don't know if it's going to
be see-through when you get into
you don't want that.
Like, it's going to like hug you at the wrong place.
Exactly. And I feel the brands abroad have mastered giving you every information. So if you were to shop from Victoria's Secret and you would shop their swimwear, they'll tell you if it's lightly padded, non-padded, whatever, you know, what cut it is. So you can actually then decide, okay, I don't want padding. I want padding. I want more padding. Or I want a lower cut. I want a this cut. So I feel like those kind of things need to be slightly tweaked. Whereas, so you're not disappointed when you order something in India.
But I mean, nobody's saying that you need to go, it's all or nothing. You don't have to go only homegrown labels or only buy things from abroad. I think it is making sure that your wardrobe is balanced and you get the best from everywhere. And I think it's about recognizing that we do have good quality clothing, and we have great quality jewelry and accessories that are coming up, and handbags and things like that. So
I mean, very important thing that I think we Indians suffer from is that I firmly believe that we're a land of embroidery. And while the West is great with their cuts, their cuts are unmatched, our embroidery is unmatched. So I think it's something that we need to sort of, start imbibing, getting into the cuts as well. So I think just that, if you find that balance of the cut and the embroidery, and while because we're a land of embroidery, we almost abuse it and go like, oh, but isme itne ka kya hai? Because we want it to be filled with embroidery in terms of paying for it. So
that is so true. That is so true, because you can't measure quality by
quantity of sequin, dabka, your zardozi and everything. Whereas I think we need to start opening up to paying for cut as well. Because, cut is really what will flatter your shape, your body type, and the embroidery is not necessarily always going to flatter these things, but it's the cut. So we need to start opening up to spending more on that.
Yeah, that's true. Amrita, I've seen that you have a lot of Indian pieces in your wardrobe, and I can say that not because I'm snooping, but genuinely because we know that you have a lot of Indian pieces, and people often feel that Indian labels are restricted to Indian clothes only, and you can only wear them in a particular way. But I've seen it's your flair for styling that kind of really makes you wear them in different ways. I mean, I've seen you wear a blouse like 3 different ways and not make it look like it's costumey. It's not letting somebody know that I have worn a blouse differently. You won't even tell. Likewise, the jacket and things like that. And to me, I think that is sustainability. That's true sustainability. And that's what I really appreciate. It's sustainability of choice, because it doesn't necessarily have to come in the material or in the matter or the way that it's made, but also how many times can you wear it? I think that is so relevant and so important for us today. Are we binge buying or are we investment buying? And I've seen that you have encouraged investment buying a lot. And it needn't be super expensive pieces, but just a great pair of jeans. And the number of times you can wear it and the different ways that you can wear it. I mean, tell us about how you can build your wardrobe and buy smartly.
So I think what I have started doing lately is that whenever I want to pick something, I think to myself, where am I going to get out of this? How many times am I going to wear it in a year? Is this something that I'm picking for that one party, or is this something that is too statement to wear only to maybe like a fashion party or really, somewhere abroad where you want to be fabulous or something? So I have really and also it's relevance through the years for me. So I feel like, a good high-waisted, wide-legged pants is something that I feel like is in trend every season. A good jacket, a good sort of strong shoulder jacket is something that will be there. A good pair of boots are something that it really is an investment. So I just think like you have to ask yourself, am I going to continue wearing this? Or is this something that is, it's trendy right now and it's going to be out? Because honestly, we really have to ask ourselves, how much are we consuming? How much are we, we really, it's a difficult question because we want to shop. Every time we go out, we want to be wearing fresher, newer clothes. But it is something that I feel like we can look back at our wardrobe and say, hey, but I haven't worn that in 6 months. Nobody's seen me in it. So I can pull that out and just give it a spin and wear it again.
Yeah. And I think with fast fashion, we're able to buy a lot more in a lot less. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I mean, I have some amazing pieces from Zara and H&M that I wouldn't trade off for anything. Gaurav is he does some amazing Indian menswear, and I've seen like it's extremely well tailored and it's classic with a kick. I mean, do you guys influence each other? Like, how is that? How is it to be two designers and doing different things, but do you guys think the same?
I think, there is, it's amazing actually, but it's something that I think we've discovered through the years is that there is a great amount of restraint and balance in our work. So while we see everybody going crazy if it's, Indian wear with embroideries, etc., I think inherently we sort of restrain ourselves and try and find a balance in a garment. That way it's great in terms of having doing completely different work and for completely different he's doing men and I'm doing women, but to have that similar sense of that aesthetic of balance is quite interesting, and we're very glad for it.
But have you ever considered changing it up? And have you ever felt that as an influencer and as a designer and a creative person, do you feel that in the world of social media, you could lose your cultural identity somewhere? Because there is so much influx, there's so much inspiration. You could be an influencer and also get influenced by others as well. So have you ever felt a fear, or do you feel like, no, I know who I am? Is there could we lose our sense of cultural identity?
I see that a lot. It's such a good question, such a good thing to discuss actually. But I see that a lot, and I see that at different levels and I think one of the things is more than cultural identity, it's also like self-identity. So, you sometimes what happens is you think you know somebody or you think you have an idea of somebody. And now I feel like Instagram has given everyone a platform to kind of just be. And that's great. Instagram can be a great thing to question and maneuver about whether you're finding yourself or whether you're losing yourself. And I think that is a check that you need to keep on yourself. Whatever it is. If the new you is who you are, then great. But if you find yourself losing yourself because you see everybody else being a monkey, then I don't think that's too nice. So,
but I mean, as a designer, because I've noticed that somebody does a particular style or a particular color story, and of course you have fashion trends and forecasts, and then suddenly everybody's doing it. What sets one apart from the other? And yes, you also have scaling down and the whole trickle down effect that goes from high fashion down to an easy mass made garment. And yes, it's still an Indian garment and it's still an Indian label and it's still giving back to the economy and things like that. But I do feel sometimes our culture still remains in that finesse, in that tradition, which gets taken over by mass production somewhere.
Yes. Also, I feel, I'll give you an example. So, frill saris, all the rage. And then there were 2-3 versions of it that came out. And then I did my own version of it, Now, I'm okay I think you can take inspiration. But I don't understand when someone blatantly picks up something from the other.
Yeah. And you can't now because, we have a check. We have Diet Sabya makes sure that nobody does that, and I think in a way it's great because it is creating a safe space. Yeah, it's creating a safe space for the designers who are using creativity. and who are making sure that they're creating things that are unique. So the other thing that I really wanted to discuss with you is that it's your love for silver. It's a very interesting liking to have, and I've seen your collection, the way you build it, the way you wear it so many times. It did really inspire me, because I haven't been one to enjoy silver the way that you do. And now I can remember, when you would talk about Celeste, I remember that's when I used to go, that's when I used to get my ears pierced, and you're having a rebel moment, so you go and get a third piercing done, and the auntie will just do it quickly. And I was like, silver is really having a moment now, and it is picking up a lot. It's not just the stores like Celeste and the other one beside it, but also people are creating brands like Sheetal Zaveri. I love her stuff. I think it's beautiful, and it's almost like craft and tradition that's fossilized. So why would you, and I know that you said that you would save up and buy something in silver, and why would you do that instead of buying a handbag, when buying a handbag is probably the popular choice? Why was silver your investment?
So I think, jewelry for me, maybe a bag means more to somebody else, but I think jewelry for me is more emotional. It always has been. I think I got hooked on to jewelry. My aunt got into jewelry, so I would keep wearing these sets to show to clients. And I used to love the way, and I was a complete tomboy back then. So I used to love the way, I think that's the first time I sort of noticed myself. And I used to love the way it used to look. So I think jewelry for me intrinsically is is more emotional and is more, or more of value to me. I think jewelry just never gets old. Whether it's silver, whether it's timeless.
Usually we would buy jewelry when we get married, right? That's the time when every girl gets a really decent collection of jewelry. And, big or small, that's the time that your parents and you make those decisions for those big pieces that are going to probably go on till maybe your child gets married. And now people are doing precious jewelry, but at a lot more affordable, wearable in those kind of ways. They're smaller, they're delicate, they can be stacked, repurposed. You can wear them every day, and I think that's quite ingenious, and that's a great way to kind of make sure that we're able to wear our heritage, and we're able to wear the tradition and still kind of stay modern, because no, you don't necessarily need to wear polki only when you're wearing a sari or an anarkali. Right, and I've seen that those are the kind of pieces that you've shared many a time.
Yeah, I mean, I feel since we were talking about silver, I feel like what silver has also done, it has made people, or it has made people sort of made jewelry buying inclusive to a lot of people who back in the day, jewelry meant, gold jewelry, or wedding jewelry only meant gold jewelry, and polki and jarao and whatever. What people are now doing is there's some beautiful brands that are doing the same jarao settings in silver. It cuts down the cost so much, you can't even imagine. So what you'd be paying, say 7 lakhs or whatever, here you're getting for 1 or something. So and of course there's the other market which is doing much cheaper stuff in brass and stuff, but there are other brands that are replicating the same thing, using the same stone, the same polki, same everything, but the gold cost is gone. The thing is, we're a nation of jewelry. We love our jewelry. We love adorning jewelry. We've always been. Whether who said that? I think Karl Lagerfeld said that even a very poor woman you'll see on the road wearing a gold chain or whatever, So we're somebody that really believe in sort of putting our money in that, what we find precious, what we find pure. I feel increasingly the idea to wear it every day is very important. Why are we buying it if it's being stacked up? And I think what started happening is when when we were buying jewelry, my father, when he told me, he said, don't buy bigger sets and store it in the locker. Instead, buy things that you wear every day. So it's a tennis bracelet, your solitaires, your little, pendant things, your rings, whatever your jewelry style, just wear things that you wear every day. It made a lot of sense. And I think that thing started coming in a lot of people. So now people want to buy, but they want to buy, even if it's delicate polki things, but they want to buy something that they want to wear every day. So polki being worn every day is great. Just pearl
I
things.
love that. I love that we can wear polki every day. And because I feel that it really complements our skin tone. It lifts us and our complexion like nothing else. And for me, jewelry has actually been more about, I have loved jewelry, always. I mean, my memories go back, visiting the locker with my mom and like seeing all the things that she has that my nani gave to her. And, then she reminisces, this Masi gave this to me when this one was born. And this mama gave me, when I got married and things like that. And for me, it's always been vintage. Even now, when my mom tells my sisters and I, like, okay guys, pick whatever you want. And I always tell her, like, Mom, give me something old. I feel like it has a memory attached to it. It has a feeling. And even though, like, there was a sapphire ring that my grandfather had and my mom had it remade into a ring for me, every time I look at it, I remember that was his. And then there are still a few of his rings, they're like chunky, like how men used to wear rings back in the day. And I said, you know what, don't change it. Because I really like that. And I love the vintage part of it. For me, jewelry is vintage. It's a memory. It's nostalgia, So Amrita, I'm going to get finally to something I've been wanting to ask you, is that you are a new mom. Not very new, but our sons share a nickname, and I found that quite sweet. I was like, we both call our sons Zizu. But tell me, when our kids grow up, what's that one piece of culture or tradition that you want to pass down to him? Because obviously we don't want them to be living in a bubble, but at the same time we want them to have those roots that we pride ourselves on. So what's that one thing you want to pass down to him?
I think increasingly living in urban cities and stuff, I think there's such a disparity even in our homes. I think bridging that gap with respect is something, like, I feel like when we talk about Indian culture, whenever we mention respect, it's always understood as respect for elders. But no, I don't mean that. I mean respect for different classes, respect for your house help, respect for the people that work for you, your staff, just respect for anyone. And I think globally also, there's so much talk about inclusivity and acceptance. And at the base of it, it's really respect. Everybody just wants to be considered and respected, that's all. But I think it's something that we need to sort of extend to everybody else. And that is something I feel always takes us a long way if you just sort of, roll that respect out for each other. So that is something I really feel like we need to pass that on. I would like to pass that on.
I couldn't agree more, because I feel like, the ones who live with us and the ones who help us with everything, I mean, they're family. I don't consider them any different. I mean, their kids are like my kids because my kids are like their kids. I'm so glad that we've been able to have this chat from where to where. We could probably go on and on and on. But that you know now, and I've said it quite openly, that I'm one of your top influencees. And so before you go, I want to ask you some quick questions, and they're just one word answers. So whatever comes to the top of your head. Okay. 5 essentials in every woman's wardrobe. It can be clothes, bags, shoes, lingerie, anything.
Skin color underwear, many white shirts, so I'm not counting that as one, many white shirts, a good chicken curry kurta, something that belongs to a piece of jewelry that you wear every day that has come from your mom, your dad, your grandmom, somebody. A good watch and many pairs of heels.
Tell me 4 designers or brands that are always on your radar.
Ooh, okay. Anamika Khanna. I'm a huge Anamika Khanna fan. I know you are too. So Anamika Khanna. Yeah.
I love her.
Yeah, I love her. Then for jewelry brands as well?
Anything.
And it not necessarily Indian or?
Brand. No, not necessarily. Just take your pick. But these are the 4 that you always keep an eye out for what they're coming out with.
So there's a designer called Dries Van Noten. So I love his work. Even Gaurav does. So him, Anamika Khanna. There's for jewelry there is the store that I keep frequenting in Bombay. So that is Aquamarine. And there is another silver designer who I've come across through on Instagram who does the most gorgeous things. She's a fellow Bihari girl, so we were even more excited. But her name is Anu Merton Jha, and she is doing the most.
Amrita, you can't know.
Are you serious?
I literally was looking at her stuff before
Are
this
you
conversation
serious?
started. I've added 3 things to my cart. This is unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Yes, I
seriously.
love her stuff.
The most gorgeous things she's making. Again, she's making it wearable for every day, which is what I love.
3 reinventions of Indian wear that you can't stand.
Wearing a sari as a blouse, you keep rolling. I don't know what happens, and then you have
I
like.
don't think that works for like anybody except for someone who's really thin.
Anything that is forced, any reinvention that I feel is forced to. I have seen people that sort of repurpose a scarf into something and wear it as a thing, and they are able to fully do it. But the minute it starts looking like there's so much time that's gone into it, I'm not convinced then. So it's not so much the reinvention of a particular piece, but it's the way it's done.
Yeah, I mean, you probably you just don't get it.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Okay. 2 pieces that you bought and never ended up wearing.
God. So I bought a fitted dress. This was when I was in my 20s, and I bought a fitted dress. It was still here, mid-thigh, and it was like this low neck, very American, very like this thing. And it was fully fitted and everything, and I was like, oh, look how great it looks on me. And I kept, every time I used to pull it out to wear it, even when I was 25, I was like, you know what, this is not me. It's just not me. Like, I can wear a fitted dress. I can rock it. Is it me? It's not me. So it's okay. So,
One more.
One more. Those, those netted tulle tops, fitted ones, which came a few seasons, and you could wear them with a bralette inside. Again, it just felt like it was not me, and I actually have it still in my cupboard, and every time I look at it, I'm like, I will wear it. I'll wear it someday, but I just haven't got around. It's time.
But it never happens. Last question. 1 word to describe India.
Diverse. But 1 word that we need to include in that is inclusive. It needs to, accept and be inclusive of its diversity. I don't know. It is inherently diverse. I feel like it's always been.
Especially in the fashion space, everyone is becoming a lot more aware. They're becoming a lot more conscious. We as a generation are a lot more conscious now. And we are becoming more inclusive in everyday way, in an everyday manner. So whether it's having makeup for all skin color, or clothes for every size, or not culturally misappropriating, work and embroideries or things like that, and giving them its due as well. I think the fashion industry is doing an incredible job.
I think it's great because there is conversation about it, and that conversation entails one to, or sort of pushes one to get more information about it, and therefore then it starts becoming something that you need to be more aware about. So that's good.
Yeah. And I think what's amazing is that finally it's a positive approach that the industry is having to finally be vocal for local. I think this has been wonderful that we've discussed almost everything. Our conversation would have gone on endlessly.
I know, endlessly.
And and I really hope that soon, when this whole thing is over, we can meet and make sure that this conversation is endless, but we can have a great cup of coffee or like get something to eat, and I'm not going to have the cookies. No, I can't do that.
We went overboard, my God. Finally, at the end of it, I was like, bas na, no more cookies. And then this morning again, I went to the fridge and had it. Okay, so Mira, I wanted to ask you, what is the most treasured piece of clothing or jewelry that you have got from your mum that you want to pass down to your little daughter?
So interesting that you asked me. It's actually my mom's reception outfit, the one that she wore at her reception. It's made with real gold thread.
Oh.
And she gave it to me because she was like, you're the only one out of the three who will actually fit into it. I don't know if I'll fit into it right now, but she was like, you're the only one who will fit into it. And I was like, this is amazing. It's an heirloom that I'm going to cherish forever.
Okay, that's lovely. What is it that has surprised you about yourself being a mother? Like, how have you observed yourself and been like, I never thought I would do this? Not the typical things, but something that has surprised you about yourself.
Firstly, the fact that I could do it so early on. I mean, I used to enjoy playing with other kids. I just didn't know if I could do it myself. I love kids. But what does surprise me is that I feel like I'm a great balance between being like a really cool mom and being a Hitler at the same time, and my kids still love me. So I think that's awesome, because like there are times when I really want to be like Regina George's mom and be like, hey guys, like I'm not a regular mom, I'm a cool mom, and then I'll be the one who's like, no, you can't have this and you can't have that, and put your toys back. And so what surprised me is that I can have a split personality in that sense.
Okay. Now, if and when you're really mad, what is the one thing and you're really, really mad, like you're really mad and you're like, that's it, done, I'm not doing this anymore, blah, blah, blah. What is the one thing that'll change that'll reverse the damage? Is it food? Is it jewelry? Is it shopping? What would it be? A material thing. You can't say spending time with my kids and all.
No, fresh flowers. Always. For me, it's just it's too easy. Yeah, I mean, I wish it was something more difficult and more unattainable. But yeah, it's fresh flowers, and I've got many of them.
That's lovely. It's the same for me. It's ridiculous. I think we're twins. Okay. So that's great. So these are the questions I had.
Thank you, Amrita. Thank you for being a part of the India Edit.
Thank you so much,
I've enjoyed
Mira.
this conversation.
I'm so excited that you've done this. There's conversation that needed to be, again, starting the conversation, which is so great, and talking about brands, talking about how we need to sort of imbibe the Indianness in our everyday.
Yeah, and I feel that I feel really happy that we can connect, even though we've never met, and share the same beliefs and and do this together.
And add the same things to the cart.
Yes, I'm gonna buy it before you buy everything else.
After this, let's DM each other about what you got. That'll be hilarious.
Okay, done. Fine. Okay, cool. So like, share and subscribe.